Hi, I'm Jo Field, the Executive Manager of Disability and Community Development, and my other really important role is the Chairperson of the RAP Working Group. Today I'm interviewing Rai about reconciliation. Rai, tell me about your hopes and aspirations around reconciliation. What does a reconciled Australia look like for you?
So I think the most important thing for a reconciled Australia is that, well, if you're thinking about it holistically, we won't need RAP plans anymore. We shouldn't need diversity and inclusion plans because everybody is hired on the basis of who they are, not the color of their skin, their race, their sex. It's a very natural process that's happening in our society. And so my aspirations are for youth that they don't have to go through the struggles that my generation and our elders went through to be recognised in this country. So
thank you. That sounds like a wonderful aspiration. You know that I've worked in child protection and corrections for over 37 years. And what I saw really firsthand and saw deeply, and was deeply affected by, was intergenerational trauma and institutional racism.
Yeah.
What has this meant for you and your family?
Okay, so firstly, I'll go with intergenerational trauma. The trauma comes out in many other ways. So for my family in particular, intergenerational trauma was very subtle, and it wasn't until I was older that I realized it was that way. Like, we always had to be perfect.
Yeah.
When we went out of our house, we had to have our hair combed, our clothes on perfect, shoes. We had to look beautiful because there was always that fear that we would be taken. We were always had this fear of being taken.
Terrifying.
Terrifying for my nan and for my mum, and just that trauma has been passed down.
And what about institutional racism?
My family have been involved, have had some involvement with corrections in the past, particularly with my brother. It definitely changes who people are when they come out of corrections. They're not who they were when they went in. And if that's not supported by therapies, and especially for like the older generations, I'm talking like probably even pre-2010s, there was no real discussion around PTSD or trauma or rehoming or reader visitors programs. So it was kind of just hope for the best.
Because there's a lot of discrimination for young people.
It is.
And when they touch the system, then
100%.
it can change their...
Yeah. I read just yesterday, there was like, you know how there's the 8 determinants of health?
Yeah.
Well, now there's the 8 determinants of justice.
Justice, yeah.
And one of the determinants alone of justice, which is a young person's risk of them going into corrections, is just simply being Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, coming from a lower socioeconomic, coming from a rural and remote. So, you know, like many of my family members, we already went just from nothing that we can do alone, nothing we can do. We've already got 3 of the 8 social determinants, and that's for a lot of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
That's called a risk of reoffending tool, which has been seen to be institutionally racist and discriminatory.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. When I saw that, I was shocked. I was like, I felt a great sense of hopelessness.
So that's what we have to reconcile, isn't it? This is what reconciliation is about, having that courage to address and challenge that racism.
And just realising that it didn't happen to you. Because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen to other people. And every Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person will have a different will have different intergenerational trauma. They will have different views on intergenerational racism because some people have been touched less than others. Yeah, and some people just don't talk about it. There's a lot of older members in our community. They think that's normal. Yeah. And so they don't actually realise that how they're being talked or how they were treated was bad because in those days it was just normal.
And that's what we've got to get
Yeah, exactly.
addressed, isn't it?
Absolutely. And like, I often think of a reconciliation process as pulling a Band-Aid off a really disgusting wound, and the Band-Aid's been sitting there now for 200 plus years.
Yeah.
And we need to pull it off, wipe it off with the Dettol, and
Yeah.
air it out and expose it for what it is, that, you know, this is a horrible thing in Australia, but reconciliation is a step towards actually creating conversation.
And towards some healing.
Yeah, and definitely for healing. I like to think long term, things change slowly, you know, like everything.
Well, with those hopes and aspirations,
Yeah.
I'm sure that we can make reconciliation the right journey for us all to take.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.